breaking it down in layman's terms. Today, I've got a special guest. I got the source from MarketSource, VP of Omnichannel Sales, an alumni of the same university that I attended, Western Michigan University, the Broncos. We've got Ben Sims. Ben, let's break it down in layman's terms. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to learn from you as well as have a conversation about outsourcing in general, market source, B2B sales, modern sales methods, all of the above.
You've got a lot of content out there, and Ben has been with MarketSource for quite some time. And I've had the pleasure of talking to quite a few individuals who have worked there or moved on or moved back, but there's a lot of great talent over there at MarketSource. Now, I mentioned the title of VP Omnichannel Sales, but I'm going to take it a little deeper. I like what you have on Twitter, and I'm just going to read it verbatim. Just a dude that's passionate about B2B sales and sales leadership. I love it, man. I love it. So speaking of sales leadership, you're really involved with the AA-ISP organization here in Atlanta. Let's touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, AA-ISP is the premier global community for inside sales professionals. So they have an amazing website where you can pull a huge library of content for training your teams, onboarding teams, looking at compensation plans, metrics, KPIs, different scripts, different roles that inside sales can do. And so that by itself is worth the investment to become an annual member, which is really small for both individual contributors and leaders. Beyond their library, then many of the major cities have a local chapter that gets together just quarterly. So it's just four meetings a year. Not a big investment of time, but they're valuable. We bring in some guest speakers from all over the world that come in to talk about the latest topics that sales leaders or aspiring leaders are going through. So I am the chapter president here in Atlanta and have been for 5 years now. And we have an amazing sales community here in Atlanta, as you know, Doug, you're part of it. And then they also have coming up in April, I don't remember the exact dates. Maybe you can show it online here in a minute.
We'll definitely put a plug for it.
So they have a digital sales conference coming in Chicago in April. They do it every year. It is the premier inside sales, digital sales, virtual sales, whatever you want to call it, conference. It's great for individual contributors, aspiring leaders, current leaders, vice presidents of sales, CROs, all walks of life. They have an amazing expo center so you can see the latest and greatest in technology, tech stack, sales enablement, sales engagement, data, AI. You can see all that in their expo center, but also go sit in some amazing sessions with thought leaders to learn about the latest trends in modern sales methods. And so I highly recommend. I've gone to that now 7 years and don't miss it any year. It's definitely worth attending.
We'll definitely put some information up. In fact, I went over to the MarketSource website. You did an interview with Bob Perkins back in the day, and that was really unique too. So actively involved, they do a lot. And obviously in the Atlanta chapters, you're really engaged in that as the president and going forward. Speaking of sales leadership, I want to shift gears a little bit to MarketSource. Now, when I look at it in layman's terms, I go to the website, I see two, I don't say buckets, but I've got B2B services, then you got the retail services. And we're really going to go hard in the paint about B2B services today. And of course, omnichannel, which I'm really passionate about with that as well. But I'm just going to touch in layman's terms and tell me if I got it right. Retail services, MarketSource really goes into helping with brand advocacy, assisted selling, merchandising, consulting, staffing, training, the whole bit. But I want to ask about Ask Me. I saw that on the website. Can we touch on that for a minute?
I actually can give you a personal experience with Ask Me. My wife and I were at, I won't mention the brand, a big box hardware store. Anyway, we were in there and we needed a new dishwasher. And so we were looking at different dishwashers. And occasionally you would see this Ask Me code, Ask Me sign that was about this big, and it had a QR code on it. And so you could take your phone and zap it. And then what it would do is you would get a live person on your phone that represents that brand or product and can answer any questions right then and there. So instead of waiting for someone on the floor that works for the big box retailer to come answer questions, you're getting an actual product expert on your phone in real time answering questions about a specific product. And it's not just dishwashers, they do it for a lot of different products. I do believe that that can be applied to B2B sales, which is in my world as well. So it's a great virtual assistant technology that we came up with. Amazing.
I love that concept, and obviously we've made the pivot a couple years ago to do more virtual training. And I'm familiar with the retail brand strategy where you've got reps in there working the floor at a big box retailer or whatever project you have, and MarketSource reps several brands from HP across the board. I'm not going to name them all because they're there. You got to go to their website. But that asked me kind of stuck out on me with that concept of it's virtual, it's there, it's interactive, it's on your phone. We're bringing QR codes back. So that's just one gamut that you guys do on the retail side. Hopefully I hit it correctly, but let's flip it over to the B2B service side. Now, when I think of MarketSource in previous conversations, I think of the outsourcing, the ability for you to staff people per projects. Overview of that. I know that's a loaded question.
MarketSource is the premier outsource or even augmented sales support team that we can give mostly to enterprise companies. Almost all of our clients are enterprise in the B2B space. We have dozens of them. And really what we do is we generate more revenue for them. Now, you can generate revenue in two areas. One, with net new customers, or you can grow revenue with your current customers. And with net new, we can do it with inside sales teams working directly to find new opportunities through lead generation or even close it ourselves. We also have a huge presence in the channel. Companies hire us to work with channel partners, either identify and onboard new channel partners or be those brand advocate training and capturing the mind share of the sales teams within a channel, within the channel in order to grow revenue. We also have field teams. So we have teams. We have a lot of resources all around the country and even the world that can go meet face-to-face if it's a complex sale. So that's the net new opportunity. So we do inside sales, field sales, direct or indirect, but we also have a big presence in managing and growing your current accounts, right? Your 80-20 rule, where 80% of your revenue is coming from 20% of your customers. Well, what about the other 80% of your customers? Is that declining revenue or can it grow? A lot of times we will get hired to take on those customers and grow those accounts, both deep and wide. Or we can do it with customer success where we are reducing churn. Right now, I feel that with the uncertain economy that a lot of people are trying to figure out, that's when you double down on your current customers. You double down on growing them, but certainly retaining them. And if you can improve your retention by 20 or by 10%, Gartner says that drops right to the bottom line, and you can grow your profits by 25% or more because your CAC is already identified. You've already paid for them to become a customer. Well, now it's important to keep them as customers. And so we do programs for that. So we grow revenue either with helping you close new customers or growing revenue with your current customers in a B2B format.
I love that. I want to hone in on that because what you said speaks near and dear to my heart. Customer acquisition costs, taking them down, but working with your current clients and customers, keeping them happy. You've got customer success stories, customer success teams. You've got Mr. Heckler involved with that. You've got a lot of stuff going on with, and I think that's where we are headed in sales. You got to work with your existing clients and customers to retain them, to keep them happy, cross-sell and upsell, and the world is yours for referrals. And keeping CAC costs down. And I mean, we think of outsourcing, think, overseas or that, but working with your current clients and customers and leveraging it. I just love those programs that you just talked about. I mean, that's just an area in sales that we need to focus on in general.
And too many of your customers are being ignored. Your sales reps or your account managers are always going to rely on the tried and true customers that buy consistently. And you've already captured their wallet share. They may or may not be buying from a competitor, and therefore you've captured it. We think those are not the A accounts. Those are your B accounts because you've already captured their wallet share. The A accounts are the ones where they're buying from you and they're buying from a competitor, or they're buying from you, but you can go deeper or wider with that account. That's an A account. And that's the one that actually we feel needs more attention, more touches, okay, in order to see your revenue go like this with your current account. So too often sales teams are so focused on their biggest and best customers, and they're ignoring the growth customers. And they don't have processes in place or technology in place to foster that, grow that relationship with the growth accounts. And those are the ones that we like to hone in on.
Oh, I love it. I love everything from customer success, honing on that. And I like how you did the wallet share from You categorized your ICP from A to B category, and what is growth opportunities. It's feel like I get on my soapbox. We're missing an opportunity in sales to work with your existing accounts who are on the fence, but they may give more opportunities. The benefits of outsourcing, you guys specialize. You can reduce travel time, costs. But if a company, let's say Acme company hires you, okay, large company, Acme company, and they want to bring on just a specialized new product initiative, go to market strategy on a new product, they can bring in your team because you have a customized group of sales practitioners that work for them. Do you do a lot of customized projects as well?
Well, we do customize, but we also we're salespeople at heart. So we design processes, we implement the tech stack. So you're getting a fully baked cake, not just a person, right? You're getting the process, you're getting learning and development behind it, you're getting data analysts behind it, business analysts that give you reporting. We put in our own instance of Salesforce and all the technology around that in order so that our reps are having more what we call green time than red time. Red time is non-sales activities, administrative things, sitting in meetings, the research. Not green time's talking to a customer. We increase the green time that our reps have by giving them the technology that they need that enables them to do that, and it allows them to engage more often. Then what we need to customize is to your product, your persona, your ICP, your industry. That obviously has to be customized, and it works best when we're like this with the client, when hand in hand with the client, to design all of that training material. But I'll also say what you said was really good, and that is they hire us for focus. Too often, your own sales teams are distracted with, yeah, they're supposed to be prospecting, but they don't. Let's be honest. And then they find a deal and they work on that deal, and then the deal's closed. But sometimes the salesperson holds on to that and a little maybe too much and doesn't hand it off to customer success or the account manager, and therefore they're not prospecting again, and it keeps them from finding. A lot of times, what we're hired for is a segmented role. We
Okay.
need more customers from this industry, or we need to grow our account. We need to grow these accounts of our current customers. Then we work on a statement of work. So guess what we do? Narrowly focused on the metrics that we got to hit on that statement of work, so we don't get distracted by the shiny object or the priority of the day that happens within your own organization. That doesn't distract us. We're narrowly focused on the specific accounts that you hired us to work.
Focus, and more focus. But you also, as well documented on the website, is acceleration. You're a sales acceleration company. So if you're highly focused and let a team like MarketSource come in there and just take things, work within the partnership, and just grow your revenue at a quicker rate than you would on your own. It's amazing where we're going with outsourcing and things like that. And with MarketSource is obviously you guys been doing it for a while now. You're like the leader in that as you opened up with that. And speaking of leadership, I'm going to kind of go back to Ben Sims now a little bit here on personal branding leadership, because I'm a video guy, and I interview a lot of people leveraging video, the voice of the customer, and you've done a lot with video. If you go over to MarketSource, especially on their Vimeo channel, Ben's been doing a lot of shows with Steve, and I always butcher Steve's last name, Steve B. Bamasudo, and they've got videos. But Ben did something in 2021. I'm going back. I know we're in 2023 right now, but for the whole calendar year, he did a 2-minute Tuesday video. Let's talk a little bit about that and the experience from that.
Yeah, I did it every week for a year. It was an experiment. So when was that? 2021. We're still in the throes of a pandemic. Many of us were working remote still. And so I made a New Year's resolution that I was going to do a 2-minute video on LinkedIn every day for a year. And I did. So I did 50 videos. I did take 2 weeks of vacation that year. So I did 50 videos. The purpose, though, let me explain the purpose. Why would I do a 2-minute video on LinkedIn? The audience I was speaking to were, one, our current customers, because I want them to see what we're talking about behind the scenes. All right. What new technologies am I seeing? What new sales methods am I seeing? What new approaches? How's the buyer adjusting and changing? So all the things that we talk about here at MarketSource behind the scenes, I would put in a 2-minute video so that our clients can see, our current customers can see what we're working on. Of course, that also helps attract new customers. All right. So it wasn't just about business development, new customers. I want our current customers to see what we're working on. I want potential new prospects to see what MarketSource is about, but also, just as important for me, was our people. I want them to see what we're working on. So we have dozens of sales teams representing dozens of brands in a wide variety of industries, but of course they're narrowly focused, like I told you, on their mission. I want them to see what else we're working on at MarketSource that invests in them, different technologies we're looking at, different methods we're looking at, different priorities, different initiatives. So I actually would put all those behind the scenes conversations that we have and put it in a 2-minute video and just kind of share that, or different research that I've done. So I was talking to our current customers, potentially new customers, and our own people, so that they can see everything that we talk about here at MarketSource.
I love that from the standpoint because it wasn't just Ben doing a video for Ben doing a video. You had a targeted audience, but you worked for new clients or potential clients or growing your network. And from a personal branding standpoint, I'm sure that was beneficial as well. But you kept tying into a theme, and you showed the journey from a calendar year. You shut it down after a year.
Yeah.
Would you have done anything different? Are you going to do it in 2023? Two
Probably.
questions.
Here's the truth is, what I've learned in that experience is that the LinkedIn algorithms are always changing. And so at that time in 2019, 2020, and even early 2021, video was hot. We were getting a lot of impressions on video. I feel like by the end of 2021, they were steering away from that. They still liked pictures. They introduced surveys. They love surveys right now, and even just written content. And so I felt like the video, I could see the viewership in video declining. I could see that my feed of those videos was declining during the year. And I felt like maybe it was the content I was producing, but I also think LinkedIn had, they're always changing priorities, just like all social medias are. I don't want to play the game of keeping up with their algorithm, but at the same time, I want to make sure that what I'm doing is useful and impactful. So I kind of went back more to a multi-channel approach to LinkedIn, where I was doing some written. Now I'll do occasional pictures. I'll still do an occasional video. Now my big thing is just replying and responding to comments that or to posts that I see. And trying to be more personal in some of that outreach. So you got to mix it up. You got to do all of it. So instead of dedicating to just video, I decided to be multi-channel in a way within LinkedIn.
I love it. I love everything about what you learned from that experience. And you used the word multi-channel. Now, finally, we're getting to the point of the interview where we got the VP of Omnichannel Sales. Let's talk about, we've got multi-channel, we got Omnichannel in sales. I'm going to the expert here, subject matter expert. Omnichannel Sales, that name, that strategy, that terminology has been kicked around. In fact, I went to Chat GPT to define it. Multi-channel, omnichannel. In your vision of multi-channel, especially what MarketSource is doing, let's talk about that. I'm just going to give you the floor. Lecture me a little bit within a minute or so about omnichannel and omnichannel presence. And why is it important for sales today?
Most people think of omnichannel in the retail space. So as a consumer, you are going to go do some research. Let's say you want to buy a pair of running shoes. You go do some research online on running shoes. You might even go into social and you might read recommendations, right? And read reviews and read the scores. Then you might go online and shop around a little bit and compare and contrast the different online retailers that might have it. But guess what? They're running shoes. Sometimes you're taking a guess of how they feel and fit. So then you might end up going to a store, trying them on, run around the store in them a little bit. I'm just using running shoes as an example. You can do this for a wide variety of products. And then you either may buy that shoe at the store, or you might go back home and buy it online. All of that is being captured. Everything that you're doing in that journey as a consumer is being captured, and that's what makes it omni-channel. So they can see all of those touches and all the different journeys that you have to buy those shoes. I believe that what happens with consumers ends up transferring into B2B. I believe that omni-channel sales is definitely alive and well in the B2B space. Because if you think about what omni-channel really is meeting the buyer where they want to be met. Okay, so just 10 years ago, the primary channel, especially for inside sales, was phone and email, and that was it. That was what most people just used those approaches to get in contact with a buyer. You also have field sales, which we're meeting with people in person. But along comes something that you're excellent at, is both video, a way to interact with people on video. So we have webcasts, we have webinars, we have podcasts. You have even videos that can be sent by an email for a direct message. Now you have also social selling, which you're also very good at, where you're building your personal brand, you're sharing your thought leadership, but you can also identify the right personas within your ideal customer profile and do some direct messaging. So now we've added social, we've added video. Guess what? I know, because we use it, texting has also become a popular channel for, especially if you have a relationship already with someone. Existing customers a lot of times will prefer text. But even new customers, after you've had that initial engagement, might you can send a confirmation for an upcoming meeting by text. So now I've talked about text, I've talked about video, I've talked about social, I've talked about face-to-face, I've talked about email, and I've talked about phone. All of those are channels of communication. What I just described is multi-channel. What makes it omni-channel, and what we do here at MarketSource, is you have to capture all those touches into a single source of truth. And so we build a CRM that then captures all of those conversations. So you have a 360-degree view of your customer and all of the connection points that you've had with your customer, and you know their preferences. I may not respond to a direct message on LinkedIn, but I might respond to another channel. I might respond to a video. I might respond to a podcast I saw. And then the next person that you want to talk to never watches or listens to a podcast. But guess what? They do respond to another channel. They might respond to email. So because of the multi-generations that are now involved in the decision-making process, everybody has different communication preferences. Therefore, you have to use them all to have as many conversations as you can with the buyer, because the buyers are in different channels. And that's why I preferred, that's why I highly recommend a multi-channel approach to sales, not just relying on what you did 10 years ago, but then also building a CRM that captures all of that, and that's what makes it omni-channel.
I love that from the standpoint of a lot of areas, but you got to go where your buyers are. You got to go where you can communicate with them. And you so eloquently talking about omni-channel and multi-channel, because multi-channel may not have the same direct message across the board. It's just using another channel, having a different, but you want synergies with that. And I like the fact of how you talked about integration with your CRM solution, because that's an area that I need to unpack a little bit more. I'm going to do a little more research on that after this interview. But the point is going where your buyers are, having the right channel. I do a lot, I would say more multi-channel when I'm reaching out. Are there any special initiatives right now, 2023, from a MarketSource perspective that you're working on that you can share with us?
Yeah, the one we already talked about earlier is customer success. Again, in times like these, we've learned from the past, this is when you double down on your current customers. The getting new customers is taking longer. There's a lot of uncertainty. The number of buyers are getting, number of people in the buying committee is just growing. A lot of the buyers are doing digital research, and deals are being pushed. We're seeing deals being pushed. I'm not saying you get away from net new. You always have to find new customers. But also when times are challenging to get new customers, and due to the economy or whatnot, that's when I think you double down, triple down on your current customers. And that's where we believe that adding value to the customer through customer success, proper onboarding, right? Making sure that they're trained well, that they all see the full value of what you are providing. And then as you iterate your products or services, you have to educate them and advocate to them, hey, we have new features you're not using, or you're not utilizing what you have from us enough. And then giving them the reviews on where they can see the value and add, even get more of an ROI on what they're purchasing. Then, hey, where else can we expand this relationship? Are there other practices in your business, other business units that would benefit from learning about our products or services? Or do you have new employees that we can help you on board? And then, of course, then it comes to retention, right? And then it's time to renew them, right? And so that is a process. That is not something that you can just willy-nilly wing at and kind of do a little bit of onboarding and then leave the customer alone and then visit them 2 months before it's time for a renewal. That's not the right approach to customer success. Customer success is just making sure that the customer is seeing full value of your product or service throughout their entire life cycle with you. And we believe we know that's a very fast-growing segment that a lot of CEOs and CROs are paying attention to, and we think they need help. They may have it for their biggest and best customers, but they don't have it with all of them. And there's digital that can be involved in touching these customers to make sure that they're seeing the value of your product or services. But there's also resources that can be involved to make sure that they're getting the human touch. So a lot of people are trying to figure out, how do I scale customer success? And we think we can help with that. So customer success and doubling down on your current customers is certainly a huge initiative. The second is helping companies with the ecosystem of the channel, where a lot of companies need help with, how do I grow more revenue through my channel partners? How do I capture their mind share? Maybe I can even help my channel by going to the end user myself and then pulling the sales through the resellers or distributors. We think that the channel and the entire ecosystem that's happening on marketplaces right now is a huge opportunity as a go-to-market strategy that a lot of companies haven't figured out, that we've been doing for years and years and years. Whether it's a hub and spoke, like we can represent a major manufacturer, and then let's say there's several ISVs or other companies that have products that can sell through that manufacturer. Well, we can help those companies infiltrate those customers. And so there's a whole indirect sale, and someone says that 80% of B2B sales are sold indirectly. Okay, we think we are experts in that to help you figure out how to solve for it.
I love a lot what the initiatives you're going forward. And I had another guest on earlier this year, Mark Fonseca from Pragmatics Corporation. And he has the phrase, customer retention is the new acquisition. But you got to have the customer success. You got to nurture your accounts. It's not, it's renewal time, let's call them up and renew the account. No, you got to build that trust. And I read a book called Mastering the Upsell. Another guest, Victor Antonio, he talked about, reducing CAC and looking at the upselling, looking at those opportunities of your current customers. You just spoke eloquently about what what MarketSource is doing in the new year, but making an effort, because you've built divisions, you've got people on board for customer success. I love it, because that's where we're headed, because we got to work with our current clients to grow revenue. And I just love everything you said and the initiatives you're doing. Some of the things that you are doing, I mean, obviously you do a lot of some video content, you do interviews. We talked about the AA-ISP. You also did, back last year, you did an event with Sales Lover. You were a community correspondent. How was that? How'd you enjoy being out there and at Sales Loft's event? Can you talk a little bit about that? I'd love to hear some stories.
MarketSource and Sales Loft have been partners for a very long time. They're an Atlanta-based company. We're an Atlanta-based company. It's very easy for us to visit each other's headquarters and share ideas. We knew Sales Loft and Kyle Porter back in their incubation days when they were at the Atlanta Tech Village, and it's been an honor to watch them grow into the unicorn here in Atlanta. And so some of it is just the local presence, and I've really enjoyed watching them grow. We have been a customer of theirs for a long time. We use them for all of our inside sales teams. They've grown into several of the channels through their technology. And so because of that, I've embraced their technology. We continue to grow our utilization of it. But then they had their conference. I think it used to be called Rainmaker back in the day. And
I was there. Yeah.
And then I remember I was getting ready to go in March of 2020. And then the pandemic hit, and they were going to have it in San Francisco, and it got canceled. And then they had a virtual version, and it was just so great to see everyone in person again this year in 2022 in Austin, or last year in 2022 in Austin, and just see, all the other people that I've known for a very long time at Sales Loft, as well as their newer people, but even their customers and their other partners. It's just, I like face-to-face, as much as an advocate of inside sales as I am. There's nothing like hugging it out with someone and just seeing some of these people for their first time in a couple of years, making new friends, seeing old friends. So I got to walk around and kind of show, for those that couldn't attend, I was able to show, hey, here's what Kyle's talking about. Here's what some of their other partners, here's some of the new innovation that they have coming that you need to check out. And it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I was honored to be asked.
I love that, because I've had the pleasure of being able to do that same role with the Outbound Sales Conference here in Atlanta, where I'm a correspondent out there and interviewing, feeling the buzz. And we had a year off too with the COVID thing, and it was just it was great to get back. But enough about me. It's back to Ben Sims here. You're doing a lot with the initiatives coming up in the new year. Are there any parting shots, or anything that we didn't cover that you would like to share with our audience right now?
Follow me on Twitter I'm getting more and more engaged on that.
Just a
So
sales dude, right? Just a
yeah,
sales leadership.
I'm just a dude, man. I'm just a dude. So you may like some of the stuff, you may not like it, and actually every now and then people will comment on something they don't agree with. I love those comments. You know, I'm here to learn as well. So I'm at EB Sims on Twitter. Definitely follow me on LinkedIn. Pay attention to MarketSource. We're going to have a transformative year, no doubt about it. Our current customers couldn't be happier, and we're getting some great scores and feedback from them on how we can improve, but also what they like from us. But you're going to see I think you're going to see some exciting things come from us that we'll be announcing in the coming year on how we're better helping our customers. So pay attention, because there's a lot of innovation happening here that I invite all of you to follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter, pay attention to us on Instagram and even Facebook. That's where you can find us. But of course, feel free to reach out to me directly. I love talking to people. We'll have conversations anytime with someone. But I'll tell you, I can't disclose too much, but there's a lot of innovation happening here that you're going to see come out from us in 2023.
Outstanding. I want to thank Ben. Ben, thank you for coming on in layman's terms. Definitely check out MarketSource, the innovation that they're doing, the creation, and I'm looking forward to seeing what develops in 2023. We'll have links to the website. And I want to thank you out there in layman's terms, keeping it social, leveraging video for better sales engagement. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. Appreciate you.